Okay, welcome back everybody who's been following along through some of these tutorials that I've been doing. We are right now in the series of Book 1, the Essentials Pack, going through some of these different scenes and just demonstrating how we can edit some of these scenes and show you what they can look like. So this right here is what the book looks like. Just if you are going to pick up one of these, they're on eBay. Just make sure you pay attention. This is the 4-inch. There's also a 6-inch. So just read the cover or read the description just to make sure you're getting the right size for your figure. All right. So that said, this is tutorial number 10. We're going to be looking at the ancient battlefield scene that's found in that book. And today we're going to be doing the Hulk. I just thought it would be fitting to do the ancient battlefield for the Hulk just based on how he's dressed, and I don't know, you'll see. All right, I am using a Windows, so when I use terminology like hold control, like control C for copy, if you're on a Mac you would say command C. Also I'm using Photoshop. There are lots of alternatives to using Photoshop. You don't have to use anything. I mean, the picture looks great, but if you do want to do some further editing, which is what this tutorial is for, there are other alternatives like photopea.com. That one's free, but there are lots of options and lots of apps on your phone, tablets, lots of things these days. And finally, overlays. I'm going to be using a lot of special effects to bring these to life. In tutorial number 3, if you go back and watch that, I show you how you can make those very easily, so you can kind of customize each picture however you want, whatever elements you need to add. Okay, so with that said, we will jump in. So here is our picture of the ancient battlefield with Hulk. It looks fitting because it almost seems like some old ancient arena for a fight, which is good for this World War Hulk character. So right off bat, I'm going to say it looks a little dark to me, so I'm just gonna, this is straight out of my cell phone here. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm probably gonna grab my exposure here and bump it up a little bit. There you go, that's a little bit better. Now we can tweak that a little further as we go, but so first thing I do is I'm going to select this background layer and I'm going to choose the quick selection tool and we're going to say select subject. Photoshop does a really good job at selecting the subject. I mean, of all the chaos here, look at that. It outlines him pretty good. It even got his little sword case back here and didn't get it confused with the background. That's really impressive. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to say Control C to copy and then Control Shift V to paste. The reason we do the shift is because it will paste it exactly where it lies. Okay, so with that said, now let's make sure we're on this background layer here. Let me get my square marquee tool and I'm going to highlight or outline that spiral binding. I'm going to click Generate a Fill. We're going to leave everything default and just click Generate. So what this is going to do is it's going to give us 3 different options using AI to get rid of that spiral binding. Typically you can find what you're looking for right off bat within those first 3 options. If you don't see something you like, you'll just click the Generate button again. It'll give you 3 more. So there's option number 1. That already does not look bad. Option number 2. Option number 3. Which one? I'll tell you what. Just for the sake of time, I'll go with number 3. Alright, so over here we're going to click that generative fill layer, hold Control, and we're going to click the background ancient battlefield layer, and we're going to say Control E to merge those together. So now those are flattened together. Spiral binding is gone. Just for my sake, I don't like this little hot spot right here that it's created. So I'm going to do one more time a little generative fill. I'm going to highlight that and tell it to correct that for me. So bear with me. Again, just like before, it's going to give us 3 options. I do like this scene. I like how it has a little bit of the blood splats on the ground and some of the highlights. There, it removed that in the background, but we'll go through a couple options. Yeah, you know, that one's fine. We'll merge those. Okay, so the background looks pretty good. Now, you could technically stop right here. The image already looks good that fast. But if you know me, I like to get that magazine shot, as I call it. So this is where we're going to bring in these overlays and special effects. So I've pulled a few out that I've custom made. Again, look at tutorial 3 if you want to know how to make some of these for yourself. And you can find them on Google as well. They're all over Google. If you just type in overlay and then whatever special effect you're looking for, but again, that's all explained in that video. So take a look at that. So for starters here, we know this is a sandy environment. So I'm going to grab this sand that I have. Now you'll notice this is over top of the Hulk layer, which is why over here it's in front of him, because it's over top of him in the other layer. So I'm going to put some sand here. I'm going to make it a little bigger over top of him because it's like some sand's getting kicked up, you know, there's some action happening. Let's see, I got some smoke look effect here. But here's the thing about it. You can go up here to image adjustment, human saturation, and you can literally change it to match the scene a little bit better. Like if you want to make it more yellowish or red tone, you can even colorize it. Just get it to the right tone that you want. That's not bad. What I might do is drag this behind the Hulk. You know, my tip would be I like to put special effects in front of them and some special effects behind them. That way it just kind of makes them look like they're actually in the middle of the scene. I'm gonna bring that transparency down, that opacity. All right, I think that's okay. We'll go with that. Let's see, this one's not going to take much because, you know, it's just, he's a bare knuckle fighter in the middle of a sandy arena. So there's not a whole lot of elements other than sand and sunlight. So let's bring in some sun rays. And first of all, the hot spot's over here in the background. If you look up there, that's where the sun technically would be. So I'm going to take this image and flip it so that these sun rays are coming in from up here. And I'll make it a little bit bigger. Yeah, we got some sun rays coming down on Hulk there. And just to go a step further, I'm going to grab this little lens flare or glare. It's already on the right side. We'll put that sun right up there. We'll bring it down so it kind of comes across them. Maybe rotate it a little bit so it's not quite on his face. Now, that being said, if it is on his face and you don't like that, you can do Shift E to get your eraser tool. Just make sure if you do that, you don't want it to be hard, you want it to be soft. Okay, so, and you can, it's up to you if you want to change opacity, like the strength of it. But if you want to get some of those effects off of his face, just to make his face a little more clear, like I just did, there you go. Now he's a little bit more clear. And that's pretty much it. This picture already looks pretty good. I don't know, just for fun, I kind of want to see what some fire embers or something would look like. The only reason I say that is because it kind of looks like there were some flames going on back here. So I'm going to bring these fire embers up here in front of everybody. And if you like that look of these little embers floating around, you can hold Alt and click and drag it and it'll make a copy of it. And then you can shrink it down, rotate it a little bit, you know, do it again. And I don't know, make it bigger, rotate it the opposite direction, move it around a little bit. That's good. And I'm gonna get that eraser tool and I'm gonna choose these layers and just make sure none of these are in his face. There we go. So now his face is not blocked. We've got some cool effects going on, some fire embers, sand, sunlight. I think it looks pretty good. So I'm gonna click this top layer here. This is how we kind of close up. So we're gonna click our top effects layer. And we're going to go all the way down to the background layer. We're going to hold shift when you click the top and bottom so it highlights everything in between. And we're going to say Control E to flatten them. There we go. So me personally, now you could be done here. I like to add a little bit of what I call the movie effect. So I'll grab this here and I'll say adjustments, presets, and I like the creative dark fade. So I'm going to click that. Now that's obviously too dark. But right over here with this dark fade layer, I'm going to collapse it and click it here. Make sure you have it selected. Bring the opacity all the way down. Okay, so this is no effect. All right, back to where you were. But we're going to slowly drag this up while looking at our image till we feel like, okay, that's looking like that movie vibe. And I think that right there is looking like that movie vibe I'm going for. So I'm going to click that layer, hold Control, and click the layer under it. And we're going to Control E to merge those together. So now that's more solidified. Now we're going to go up here with this layer selected. We're going to go up here to the single adjustments, levels. I like to bring out the darks, and then I like to bring out the lights. Now, if your image is already too light, it might become more blown, so you might have to tweak the middle one. We can slide this middle around to it if you see something you like better. That's not bad right there. I might bring the lows up a little bit more. I think that looks pretty good right there. So we're gonna merge those together, and that's pretty much it. So all we got left to do now is to add our fancy schmancy logo down here. So I have mine. If other people are going to be using these backgrounds, you want to distinguish which ones are yours, right? So put your watermark up there. Now we don't want this little logo to be the focal point, so select that layer. I like to bring it down probably to about, you can play with it. I wouldn't go more than 50%, probably anywhere between 30 and 50. But right there is pretty good. You want people to see it, but you don't want it to be too distracting. And that's it. So with that being said, let's take a look at the before and after. So here's before. Yep. And then there's after. I mean, movie magic. Bam. Right? And that's where we started, guys. Right there. And this is where we landed. Not too shabby. You look good, Hulk. It looks like you're ready to have a cool action scene in a movie, or like I call it, that magazine shot. All right. So if you enjoyed this, I hope you come back for more. I'm going to be releasing... I'm going to try to do a tutorial for every scene in every book eventually. So I'll try to do different types of figures, different scale figures, so forth, so on. But yeah, and if I have any other helpful tips like I did with tutorial 3, then I will I'll release some more videos to give you guys extra tips. If you have some suggestions, just let me know. All right, thanks. Till next time.